Imagine if we could combine two major forms of leisure and cultural participation: music concerts and online video games. Well, we don't have to imagine because this has been a reality since at least 2019, when Fortnite hosted a concert by EDM artist Marshmello. And since then, over 60 concerts were held across 9 different video games, with more being announced monthly. And now you may be thinking, this is interesting, but it's all too niche. Doesn't affect the real world, right? And well, there are 2 ways I could answer that. First, by bringing up the list of artists who have already taken part in these, with names as big and diverse as Alice in Chains, Lizzo, and Elton John. Or I could also talk about numbers. Because see, it is not uncommon for these in-game concerts to attract millions of virtual attendees. For instance, Ariana Grande had 78 million attendees in her 2021 Fortnite concert. That is almost 4,000 times the capacity of the O2 Arena in London. So the bottom line is, in-game concerts exist and they affect lots of people. The question that stands then is, how are these people affected? More specifically, I'm taking as a baseline the idea that real-world concerts are social experiences which naturally create dynamics of inclusion and exclusion. And I'm trying to understand in what ways can in-game concerts reshape these social dynamics. So for example, we could think that in-game concerts might have the potential to be more geographically inclusive than real-world ones. So say you're an Elton John fan who lives far from the bigger cities, and that keeps you from seeing his concerts because he never tours near you. Then his in-game concert allows you to participate where otherwise you'd be excluded. On the other hand, of course, we must think that in-game concerts can create their own set of exclusionary traits. So we might ask ourselves, are they as inclusive when it comes to age or gender, for example? So you see, it is not about treating in-game concerts as a magical, all-inclusive solution, but instead about trying to understand what can be their role in the social dynamics of music. And how do we do this? By hearing what these concerts and their attendees have to say. So I've been attending every single in-game concert that I can, which has been a lot of fun, and taking notes on how each of them makes me feel. I'll also put out a survey to help me understand how each specific demographic relates to these events. And finally, I'm preparing to collect the in-depth insights of people who have engaged with them through a series of one-on-one interviews. So with all that we've been hearing lately about virtual realities and a metaverse, we must consider that in-game concerts are an emergent phenomenon within an emergent ecosystem. Charting one can help us understand the other, and that can lead us to a better comprehension of our current world. Thank you.
Thank you, Victor. What a fascinating topic, and something you get to experience a lot of interesting events, it sounds like.